Hi everyone. Today we're going to read a special story, Cinderella. But this one is not the same story you're used to seeing. This one is by Barbara McClintock, and I hope you enjoy it. Once upon a time, a nobleman lived happily with his sweet and gentle-natured wife and their young daughter. And when his wife died, he took another who seemed as sweet and gentle as the first. But no sooner was the wedding over than the new wife revealed herself to be the mean and jealous person she truly was. She couldn't stand the way her new stepdaughter's pleasing demeanor made her own daughters look silly and selfish. This is why she gave her stepdaughter only rags to wear and made her do all the worst chores around the house. The poor girl swept all the floors and washed and dried and pressed the laundry and scrubbed the stairs and cleaned and scoured every dish and pot and pan. At night, she slept on a thin mattress in the dingy attic while her stepsisters had lavish bedroom and all the luxuries they wanted. Her stepmother ruled her father with an iron fist, and the poor girl knew he would only scold her if she complained. So she suffered in patient silence. After a long day, when all her chores were done, the girl sat by the cinders near the fireplace to keep warm, which is why she was called Cinderella. But the older stepsister, who was the meaner of the two, called her Cinder Bottom. Despite everything, Cinderella in her rags was still 1,000 times more beautiful and dear than her spoiled stepsisters. One evening, the girls were invited to a grand ball that was being given by the king's son. The stepsisters were all aflutter about what to wear and how to rearrange their hair. "And what will you wear, Cinderella?" they teased. Cinderella sighed. "I'm not going," she said, examining her tattered clothing, but she wished she could go with all of her heart. The stepsisters asked Cinderella to help them dress and put up their hair because she could make whatever she arranged look beautiful. But they couldn't resist taunting her. "Can you imagine Cinder Bottom at the ball?" asked the elder. "They'd have to follow her around with a dustpan while holding their noses," said the younger one. Both squealed with laughter. Cinderella resisted an urge to yank their hair. Instead, she patiently made them look as pleasing as possible. The time came to go to the ball. Cinderella watched as her stepsisters entered their carriage and drove away. Once they were out of sight, she began to cry. A kind stranger appeared and asked what the matter was. I wish," Cinderella was crying too hard to talk, but this kindly woman, who was really her fairy godmother, said, "I know, you wish you could go to the ball." "Oh yes," said Cinderella. "Well then," said her godmother, "let's get busy. We'll start with this pumpkin. Now bring me 4 mice, a rat, and 4 lizards." This did seem a bit odd to Cinderella, but she found 4 mice and a rat in a trap and 4 lizards behind a garden pot. The godmother raised her arms and said the magic words, Fumus Baloomus. In a flash, the pumpkin grew into a golden carriage. The 4 mice changed into 4 handsome gray horses, and the lizards became 4 liverymen, dressed in shining emerald green, and the rat turned into a portly coachman with a jaunty mustache. Cinderella was amazed. Now, one more thing, said the godmother with a smile. All at once, Cinderella's tattered rags vanished, and the most beautiful dress appeared in their place. A pair of tiny glass slippers graced her feet. My dear, her godmother said, you must be home before midnight because at the stroke of 12, everything will turn back the way it was. Don't forget. Cinderella thanked her godmother, stepped into her coach, and rode away. When the prince heard that an unknown princess had arrived, he rushed to greet her. He gave Cinderella his arm, and together they walked into the ball. All eyes were on the charming stranger. The ladies studied her so that they could copy her hair and dress the next day. Even the king and queen admired her beauty. The prince asked her to dance. Her astounding grace enchanted everyone. By the time dinner was served, the prince was so smitten that he couldn't eat a bite. He gave Cinderella a plate of oranges as a gift. She brought them to her stepsisters and served them with kindness. They were dumbstruck that this unknown beauty would pay them any attention at all. Suddenly, Cinderella saw that it was 11:45. She curtsied and left quickly. When she got home, Cinderella told her godmother all about the ball and how much she wished to go again the next night. Then she heard her stepsisters at the door. You were gone so long, she yawned, pretending to be sleeping. The most beautiful princess came to the ball, said the younger sister, and she gave us oranges, said the elder. Oh, I'd love to see her, said Cinderella. Won't one of you lend me an old dress so that I could go tomorrow? What a joke, whispered the stepsisters, and the stepsisters laughed. Lend a dress to a filthy sitter-bottom like you? Ha! Cinderella smiled a secret smile. The next night, the 2 stepsisters entered the ball, followed by Cinderella, who was dressed even more beautifully than she'd been the night before. The moment she arrived, the prince was at her side. They danced all night. Chatting with the ease of old close friends, the time passed sweetly and so quickly. Suddenly, Cinderella heard the clock strike 12. She ran as fast as a startled deer. As she bounded down the stairs, one glass slipper fell from her foot. Outside the palace stood a pumpkin. From beneath it, 4 mice, 4 lizards, and a rat scurried away. Cinderella's elegant dress turned back to rags. The prince ran after her, but all he found was a little sparkling shoe on the stairs. He held it close for the rest of the night, thinking only of the mysterious princess who had run away with his heart. The next morning, the stepsisters were beside themselves with excitement. The prince had made a proclamation that he would marry the girl who fit into the glass slipper. His valet would go to every house and try the slipper on the foot of each young lady in the kingdom. Just think, the older stepsister said, what if the slipper fits me? Or me, wondered the younger one. Soon the prince's valet appeared at the door, holding a little glass slipper on a cushion. The first elder sister tried on the slipper, but without success. The younger stepsister tried, also no luck. May I try? Whispered Cinderella. You, sneered the stepsisters. What a stupid idea. But to everyone's astonishment, the slipper fit perfectly onto Cinderella's foot. When Cinderella pulled the matching slipper from her pocket, the younger stepsister fainted. The prince was overcome with joy. Within a few days, a great wedding took place. Cinderella and the prince were married. Her father gave her to the groom with great pride, and Cinderella, in her kindness, forgave her stepsisters and found each of her stepsisters a suitable nobleman to wed. They were all terribly sorry about how they had treated her, and everyone lived happily ever after, forever and a day. I hope you enjoyed this version of Cinderella. It's one of our favorites at home, and I will see you again real soon.